Welcome back, baseball fans, to the Patriots Press Podcast, where we talk about the Somerset Patriots, who are the Yankees No.10 affiliate. This is episode 5, and I'm Greg Johnson, joined with Matt Carlos, my co-host, for a very special episode because for the first time we have a live guest here with us. We're talking with Brock Selvidge, who's the Yankees No.10 prospect per MLB Pipeline, 23-year-old left-hander, 6'3", 205. Was a 2021 third-round pick out of Hamilton High School in Arizona. So, without further ado, Brock, thanks for being here with us. How are you doing, and how's the year of development been going for you?
It's going good. Thank you guys for having me. It's definitely been a year of perseverance with going through that injury and stuff. First injury ever, but just kind of glad to be back in the saddle and kind of getting my work in. Especially, we're really close to the off season, so. Looking forward to finishing off strong and then getting that off season to kind of rebuild and kind of come back from that injury, better than I've been. So.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that injury because I remember, it's interesting you mentioned again that you said this a few months ago too when you first came back that it's the first injury you've ever had. Do you mean it just in pro baseball or throughout your whole baseball life you've never had an injury before?
Throughout my whole baseball life in terms of like my throwing arm. Never, I've been fortunate enough never to have gone through something. And obviously my injury was a little bit perplexing. It was definitely wasn't the most common one. I think I was talking to a few of our guys yesterday, and it's just like going into this off season, it's gonna be treated a lot differently because I've been a guy that just wants to be in the weight room and wants to do something to physically better myself and stuff, but never been self-taught the self-taught, the workload and the recovery aspect of it, because that is so important. And, people can harp on you and say, gotta recover, watch the workload. But like for me, like until I went through something that I went through last year, like I definitely didn't necessarily know exactly how that was gonna work against me.
Mm-hmm.
And going through something like that, like I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
In terms of, those recovery days need to stay recovery days. And, you don't want to overwork because there is such thing as an overwork part, especially in baseball where it's very physically demanding. But I think I learned a lot for myself throughout this injury. And I'm looking forward to kind of using all my knowledge to, like I said, come back next year and be the guy. So.
Yeah, just to clarify for people, you had it was bicep inflammation that was kind of stemming from a pinched nerve, right?
Yeah. It was essentially that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was something along those lines.
Okay. So it was this was last July, I believe, early July when you had to shut it down, and you ended up coming back, rehabbing, coming back here. I think in late May, you're ready to go again in early June. Do you feel like you're in some ways still kind of fully getting back to yourself? I mean, not saying you rushed it or aren't healthy, but do you feel like these few months here since you've come back that you're with such a tricky injury like that, something you've never experienced before, that you're in some ways still trying to fully get back to being who you truly are? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm right now. I'm not even a year out of surgery, right now. So I think. In terms of like getting the strength back and being fully recovered from this, yes, I feel great when I'm out there, and I'm recovering great week to week. I feel like things are still recovering. Like I said, my body's never had to take 6 months off of throwing, even close to 6 months off of throwing. So I think like my body is kind of like oh shoot, you're taking this much time off, like the kind of getting back to where I want to be might take longer than expected. But like I said, I'm blessed to be back on a baseball field with the guys. But I think absolutely. I think this off season, just getting back to 100% and just kind of, like I said, coming back next year better than I've ever been. So.
As everybody knows, baseball is almost as much mental as it is physical, if not more. Was it kind of frustrating for you, the timing of the injury last year? It was such a good first half where you pitched in the breakout game and chosen to go to the Futures game, and literally 4 days before this kind of happened. Was that like a kind of a mental hurdle that you struggled with maybe during that stretch, to just kind of have to shut it down after such a good first half?
No, for sure. Yeah, I talked to my dad and my mom a lot about this, where it's, yeah, like I felt like I had a pretty good first half, and then getting selected for that futures game, and obviously just terrible timing from it. But at the end of the day, like I can look at it. Originally right away I was like, dang, like this is the worst timing. Like everything's right in front of me, and then it's just legs cut out from under me. But I think that's you're in when that happens, I think you're in a situation where it's like, all right, well, am I gonna pout and sit in a corner, or can I use this to my advantage and just motivate me even more? And so I was blessed to have everybody around me, the people in my corner just were phenomenal. Help from the weight room to the PTs to my parents, to my girlfriend, like just everything in general. But yeah, no, it was the timing sucked, but I believe that it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to me, and it's going to motivate me to become better than I thought I was going to be.
During this stretch now that where you've been back since early June, do you still feel like it's almost like a build-up period? Because the first half's lost, you're just kind of getting back into the groove. It's almost like I don't want to call it a spring training period when you first come back, but just catching your legs. You finally got through 6 innings twice in August. You're kind of getting back to that full workload. Do you feel like you're just now starting to get into that stretch of like, I could handle the workload, I could go through the whole throwing progression in my normal schedule just the way you normally would?
Yeah, I think having like a season-ending injury, and like I said, I'd never gone through this before, but like the whole off season was, getting back to the healthy Brock, and rather than building up arm strength or speeding up the arm, it's pretty much just building up volume to where you can pitch in a game again.
Right.
And that's just how the injury process is with pretty much all injuries. But I definitely think where I'm at right now, like it comes to, especially with the first one, it comes to you're getting your feet wet first, and then it's like, all right, let's get back on the saddle, let's find the groove, and obviously once you find your groove, then you're back and stuff. But like I said, like this off season is going to be great for me, I think, because I'm going to have the knowledge of having gone through the injury, having learned all of that, and then now going into an off season where I can build not only volume, but I can build arm strength and all this stuff, where this past off season was like, all right, let's get you back healthy, and we're not gonna push it in any direction, but it's just the focus was health, and now this off season is going to be focus being that big league Brock. So.
Right. What are the vibes like right now in the locker room? I mean, it's an exciting stretch. You got, I think, 11 games left at this point, half game lead on a playoff spot right now with Hartford and Portland kind of just right behind you. So kind of like that sense of like, postseason, everybody's kind of locked in mode of trying to close this out right and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think we're all taking it day by day, but I think in the back of everybody's head, we know we're really close to making the playoffs. We got to win these games, but it's definitely not talked about only because we don't want to put that much pressure on ourselves, because in the grand scheme of things, the only thing you can do is win that day. But yeah, no, it's definitely an exciting time, and hopefully we power through this week and next week and make the playoffs.
You came this year, I know, adding you talked about you had now 5 pitches. You added a curveball in the off season. And I know last year you were also trying to work on throwing your changeup a little bit more. You've got now the 5 pitch mix with your fastballs, I believe sweeper, changeup, cutter, and curveball. Can you just describe a little bit about how the development of those pitches has gone, as far as with adding that curveball and trying to refine that, and then just the usage of all your pitches? Like how has that ended up going for you this year?
I definitely think usage-wise, I can always be better. Leaning on the pitches that are going to work for you. Obviously, tends to be a weakness with a lot of guys, including myself. But I think like the pitches that you may not be so confident. I think just the more you throw it, the more competitive and the more just competitive those pitches are going to be. So I think with that curveball, with that changeup, me trying to master those as well. Like I think just throwing them more is going to make those better overall pitches for me.
Yeah. Obviously, this year has been a little up and down for you. I guess, one of the things I've noticed is that the quality of contact doesn't seem to be too down this year, but the walks have obviously gone up a little bit. Do you feel like this year you're kind of, some of the inconsistencies, are you working through some things maybe with your mechanics, or is it just mentally a little bit off kilter at times? I mean, what are you really working on to get kind of back on a steady track and get some of those walks down this year?
Yeah, I think it's just like I said, just I think like the repetitions of it, like this this off season about like getting healthy and stuff. When I get back, it's less of like a command thing. It's more of like just when to time my intent up, especially with 5 different pitches. 5 different grips, 5 different pitches, like finding when to turn on the intent. That is what spring training and that is what the off season is for. And not to say I didn't have that, but I definitely had a shorter version of that. But like I said, got to be better. Can't be walking people. Walks turn into runs, and runs turn into bad outings and bad results. So there's no excuse for that. But yeah, just definitely working on some mechanic things and location things. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, got to be better. So.
I mean, do you anticipate when you get to the offseason that you're going to keep these 5 pitches and just kind of keep refining them? Will you maybe get rid of a pitch and focus on 4? I mean, what's your mindset right now?
I think I'm definitely going to keep all 5, but I think refining them, getting the shapes better, getting the locations better. I think that'll take time that'll be timing for this off season. But I think like I said, just day by day. I think when it comes from throwing flyouts to catch play to bullpens, then to games, like. It's not going to happen overnight, but yeah, I think just the more repetitions I put in, the better they'll be. So,
are you just looking forward to having a normal off-season routine at this point, being as though last winter and going into the spring was all rehab? Are you looking forward to just being able to kind of shut it down, break, and then start on a normal routine in the winter?
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to having this off season to build up just everything. Like I think just. Keeping it general, like just having that last off season sucked, like just the mental part of it, having it be my first injury, like didn't really know where to go in terms of how to build up and stuff, but like the guys, everybody in the Yankees organization like helped me throughout that. Like I wouldn't have been able to get through that without them, and same with my guys over at Push and Next Era. I think overall this off season, like I was telling Jill in one of our directors in the dugout, like this is going to be my off season. This is going to be where it all changes for me. So,
guys added Kyle Carr to the rotation today. You guys now, whole rotation is all top 15 prospects in the org. Just how's exciting it to be part of that, and just knowing every day whoever goes out to the bump, you got a quality arm that's going to go out there and give you a chance to win.
Yeah, Kyle's a stud. Yeah, and I know he was shoving over in Hudson Valley. Like I think just kind of having these all of us on the mound, like when we step foot on the field, like we're gonna win that baseball game, like in our heads, like we're gonna win that baseball game, we're gonna do our jobs and the hitters are gonna do theirs, so we're very confident going into every game.
Obviously the goal is to eventually get to the big leagues. Cam Schlittler obviously started the year here. He's absolutely shoving up in the Bronx. Just how exciting is it to know you show up maybe next year, you have a good couple months, prove that you're healthy, and I mean it's not that far away if you shove and do your job and the need arises, that it really is only a step away. It's not that far. Is it just something that maybe is a little bit motivating or exciting to know that all these guys here you're really not that far away?
No, absolutely. Like just the more you're just in your just stay be true to yourself. Like you said, it is very close, and I'm sure everybody thinks about that in the back of their head. But all we can do is just go out and pitch the next game. But I definitely would be lying if I said that's not in the back of my head. I think you win baseball games, pitch well, and that's where you're going to be. So I think everybody should have the mentality. That's ultimately everybody's goal. So it's an awesome feeling for sure.
With Schlittler, it's interesting because he left here for AAA, I think, right before you got back here. And I guess you were still rehabbing when he actually added a cutter to his arsenal in late April. And that's now become, I think, his second most used pitch, actually, since he got into the Yankees. I mean, how impressive is that to you that a guy could add a pitch only a few months ago and be getting big league hitters out with it? And also just from your time spent with him in Hudson Valley, I guess early last year, I mean, what can you tell us about just kind of what sort of person and worker Cam is?
Yeah, Cam's very talented. So I think it's no surprise to me that he can move his hands on the baseball and make it spin and move how he wants. He's a very, very good baseball player, and obviously he's proven proving that to the world right now in the Bronx. So, it's awesome for him.
Yeah, I want to go back just to your youth a little bit because the fact that you haven't had really an injury in baseball until now, tells me that you obviously weren't a guy who was in your youth throwing all year round and stuff. You played other sports. I think I had heard you played football a lot actually growing up really until you got to high school. I think is maybe when you got more into baseball, right? Yeah, just tell me a little about your youth playing sports and what ended up driving you to really get involved with baseball.
Yeah, I think I've always kind of thought of myself as more of kind of like a football player growing up, and then obviously got to baseball, hit a little growth spurt, arm moved a little bit faster, so I think I was probably forced to get put on a baseball field, but yeah, no, I think like you said, playing 3 different sports in different seasons, like they have their own seasons. I grew up in Colorado for the first 10, 11 years of my life, and then moving to Arizona, still continue to play all 3. So definitely gave you the time off and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't playing year round. Wasn't causing that much stress on my arm because it was only 1 season of sport that I'd be doing that year. But yeah, I think kind of learning the discipline of all sports, I think, put me in a good position to play baseball because like you said, it's just as much mental as it is physical. So
yeah, it sounded like you came from a high school, Hamilton High School out in Arizona, which is pretty big high school, right? Good competitive atmosphere there, a lot of kids. So I guess was the environment there a big reason that you didn't have to go to college and were able to develop really nicely there and just along with that, what really made you want to stick with baseball too at that point?
I think it was just like how it was going. I broke my right arm going into my freshman year, and football, to take a full year off of football, it's definitely tough, but it was my right arm, so I think just kind of getting in the gym and like I said, just kind of hitting the growth spurt, moving faster, and kind of just growing into a baseball player naturally. I think that was kind of the only decision that I had to make, was kind of made it for me with breaking my right arm and just how everything built up to that. So
when we get to this time of the year, when baseball season is winding down, you feel it in the air. Football season's right around the corner. Do you ever miss playing football when it comes back around?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I love football. Yeah, my dad and I will be on the couch watching it every Saturday and Sunday, college and NFL. So that's a big part of our lives for sure.
Where's the fanhood lie? College and NFL. Who you guys root for?
My dad's from Ohio, so we've always been. He's crazy fan, but he's a big Ohio State football fan, and then Cincinnati Bengal NFL fan. So it's I've obviously followed in his footsteps, so I'm riding his tail like that for sure. So we're always on the same page, and I don't think I might get disowned if I don't root for those teams. So that's always been in the back of my head too.
Okay. Do you have any scouting report on Miami of Ohio? Because Rutgers is playing them this weekend, and I'm a Rutgers guy.
Bigger, stronger, faster usually wins in football. So
okay.
Yeah, look at that roster. Bigger, stronger, faster is gonna get you your answer for sure.
Yeah. Well, Brock, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck to you going forward this season and in the future. And yeah, thanks for taking the time, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Brock. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
That's it for episode 5 of the Patriots Press Podcast. Again, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can get your podcasts, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.